she did. So, yeah, good evening, everyone. And it's been some time now. And thank you all for joining the reading session. And as you know, for the past few weeks, we have been actually dividing the session into two phases. Phase one consists of us reading the submissions from this event that we conducted, titled From the Pages of Childhood. And tonight, in accordance with that routine, we are going to read something that had been submitted by Akshmani. Okay. You all have read, as I mentioned, you all have read Akshmani's work in one way or the other, at one point or another. One of her most loved work was India's Daughter. Okay. And that had been shared in the Writers Cafe many a times. Okay, Himanshu, take care. And good night, bro. Having said that, so this is another piece, and as the theme of the event was based on childhood and nostalgia, what she has, and Himanshu has joined again. Thank you, bro. And the theme that she has chosen was, of course, given, but I see that she has twisted the theme a little bit, and everyone was talking about their likings and the things that they miss. But I feel, and I have not read it thoroughly as of yet, because I wanted to read it with you guys. Do share this poem in Writers Cafe. Of course, I will. Once we are done with the event, we will be sharing all the works in the Writers Cafe one by one, and we'll be posting all the videos of this part of the reading session as well, the whole reading session as well. But you might know that we have already started posting videos for from the pages of Childhood Wale phase of this session. You can find it on our YouTube channel. As of now, I have uploaded two videos. I'll be uploading more soon. Okay, so be patient. And another thing was, yeah, we will be also posting these works or a part of it on Instagram. Okay, based on the length of the submission. No problem, Himanshu. Having said that, good night. Having said that, this submission, this entry by Akshmani is titled Ni-Shabd. Okay. So we will read it once and then again we'll be reading it and we'll try to dissect everything that she has written line by line. Okay. So she says that कितने अच्छे थे वो दिन जब हम सब बच्चे थे इरादों में पक्के पर अकल के थोड़े कच्चे थे भीड़ से दूर एक अलग दुनिया थी किताबों से प्यारी दादी की मुनिया थी सबसे यादगार है बचपन की वो यादें जीवन भर दोस्त रहने के वादे किसने सोचा नहीं आएगा वो समय दोबारा फूट जाएगा ये कोमल गुब्बारा एक राक्षस मेरे मन को खा जाएगा उससे मुझे कौन बचा पाएगा एक स्पर्श सब कुछ बदल देगा मेरी मासूमियत मुझसे यूं ही छीन लेगा आखिर क्या पाप किया था मैंने जो इस सजा का भागी हूँ भाग्यशाली होकर भी मैं भागी आई थिंक वहां पे अभागी होगा भाग्यशाली होकर भी मैं अभागी हूँ आज इस चेहरे पर मुस्कुराहट नहीं डर बस चुका है वो बेबाक बचपन अब अकेलेपन के साए में छुपा है अपनी ही चीखें मुझे सोने नहीं देती वो कड़वी यादें नए सपने नहीं देती उस एक स्पर्श ने मुझे बदल दिया अरे क्यों मेरे साथ ही ये छल किया आसमान है उड़ने को पर अब पंख नहीं रोना तो आता है पर अश्क नहीं वो मासूमियत अब खो गई कहीं मुझ में बाकी नहीं जो था कभी काश मेरे साथ वो हादसा हुआ ना होता काश मेरे तन को किसी ने छुआ ना होता सबको ज्ञान था उस दुराचार का पर ये जमाना स्तब्ध था मन में ज्वाला थी जलने को फिर भी मैं निशब्द था I don't know, I'm out of words. I'm definitely out of words because for those, first of all, नहीं, we actually try to make sure कि जो G space है वहाँ पे we keep it only for the notifications and all those things. So that is why you know we have made this separate place, Writers Cafe, जहाँ पे आप अपने poems share कर सकते हैं. G space is only for साहित्यिका's notifications and any queries if people have. That's all. So yeah, have coming back to the work, I was mentioning that you might have read Akshmani's work previously, and you can see the similarity of the flavors. In her work, Akshmani always talks about the issues that are faced by women. Not only women, in certain works of hers, she has also talked about the problems and the issues that takes a toll on the mental health of men. Okay, so Aksh always brings up these issues, and despite having the similarity of flavor, you can see that there is a sort of refinement in this particular work. Of course, it is not as descriptive as India's Daughter. Okay, I will ask her to share it again in Writers Cafe for those who are new. But she has always written about the oppression or the molestation or harassment that women have to face, right? And she always mentions it in a first person. Okay, it's never like उसने face किया या किसी और ने face किया. It's always मैंने face किया. तो she starts with a very generic line, right? कि कितने अच्छे थे वो दिन जब हम सब बच्चे थे, इरादों में पक्के पर अकल के थोड़े कच्चे थे. And that is understandable that when we were kids, everything was nice, everything was jolly good, hunky dory, right? We were Our convictions knew no boundaries. We were iron willed, we were determined, yet we were naive at times, right? And we had a separate world in our head. We had a world where princesses were shackled, and a prince would come and kill the dragon. Then eventually we grew up and we knew that the princesses could kill their own dragons, right? Damsels in distress turned into heroes, while heroes became something else, right? So despite all those modifications, we had our own existence. It was not limited to schools and friends and relatives. We had our lives. We used to draw, we used to watch cartoons, we used to imagine. Then she has written a very beautiful line, Kitabon se pyari dadi ki muniya thi. And this is something that we all have had experienced in one way or the other, be it your grandmother on either side or anyone else. We all have listened to stories and fables from at least one relative, right? Usually that is the grandparent or grandma, in this case dadi, your paternal grandmother, right? And she says kitabo se pyari dadi ki munia thi. Munia is a bird, right? And animals and um such elements, such totems, we often come across such elements, such totems in the stories and the fables and the folklores that are told to us or relayed to us by our grandmothers. Tiger या मतलब शेर की कहानी, बाघ की कहानी, right? A tiger's tale, a tale of two birds, a tale of mouse, elephant and the ant, right? So the books were there, but uh, we had much more affinity to the stories that our grandmothers had for us in their reserve, right? So Munia is just symbolifying the stories she had. सबसे यादगार है बचपन की वो यादें, जीवन भर दोस्त रहने के वादे, किसी ने सोचा नहीं किसने सोचा नहीं आएगा वो समय दोबारा, फूट जाएगा ये कोमल गुब्बारा. So we all have made promises to our friends that we'll always stay in touch, right? All of us who have used WhatsApp have had a group called Friends Forever. We all have had that one group. Can I get a raise of hands who has never been a part of one WhatsApp group that said Friends Forever? Okay. Mosam Bhadra. Okay. So see, even here, okay, Abhinit also. So the point is कि यहाँ पे भी you can see that it's not the majority. We all have been part of a group called Friends Forever, and this is actually a very distressing uh, time that I could see three people who were never part of a group called Friends Forever. Well, that sort of puts that sort of plants a seed of doubt in my head that were you guys good friends? I'm just kidding. Nevertheless, so the point is that we all have been, like, majority of us have been part of a WhatsApp group called Friends Forever. But the point is that we always made those promises that we'll always be in touch, and that never happens. Your best friend from school, you never know, someday they are going to pass away, and it will just bug you that okay, he was my best friend. And the point that will bug you is the fact that he is no more, and or she is no more, and we didn't stay in touch, right? So yeah, those promises are not vague, but they don't work out because we grow up. And while growing up, the sad reality is that we tend to grow apart, right? There's this beautiful song by Johnny Cash, where there's this line, right? You are someone else, I'm still right here. The song's name, well, Johnny Cash actually covered it. The song's name is Hurt. It was originally composed and written by a band called Nine Inch Nails. Okay, but if you have heard the Johnny Cash version, you can vouch for the fact that this song was made for Johnny Cash. Even the original composer says that I made this song for Johnny Cash unknowingly. So do listen to this beautiful and hauntingly melancholic song called "Hurt" by Johnny Cash, who actually covered it. And there's this beautiful line that, you are someone else, I'm still right here. So that is something that often happens in friendships and, other broken relationships. One person might move on, the other might not. Having said that, she also mentions that किसने सोचा नहीं आएगा वो समय दोबारा फूट जाएगा ये कोमल गुब्बारा. She has compared her childhood with a balloon. Balloons are silly, right? But they are beautiful. They symbolify and they signify the naivety, the innocence of childhood. Of course, the balloon that signifies Pennywise is the opposite of that. But then again, why did Pennywise use a balloon? To lure in the innocent children, right? So balloons have been a symbol of innocence. And she compares her childhood with a balloon, which is silly yet beautiful, but it is really very fragile because it doesn't take much but a pinprick to pop it. Okay. एक राक्षस मेरा मन खा जाएगा, उससे मुझे कौन बचा पाएगा, एक स्पर्श सब कुछ बदल देगा, मेरी मासूमियत मुझसे यूं ही छीन लेगा. She compares this person with a demon, with a rakshas, right? She says that, this diabolical entity, it consumed her mind, right? उससे मुझे कौन बचा पाएगा? Who is going to save me from it? एक स्पर्श सब कुछ बदल देगा. I guess it is very obvious what she is talking about. She said that one touch has consumed, that one touch from that demon, one touch from that diabolical entity has consumed her heart and mind, right? Man, when we say man in Hindi, it is not just your head, it is not just your bread, karo. It is not just your brain. It is your heart and mind. It is a combined entity. मेरा मन कर रहा है कि मैं गोलगप्पे खाऊं. ये सब दिमाग नहीं है. ये दिल की चाय. रात के 12 बजे दिमाग आपको नहीं बोलेगा. It has to combine with your heart, right? So her heart and mind has been consumed by that one touch from that diabolical person. Her innocence, मेरी मासूमियत मुझसे यूं ही छीन लेगा. Her innocence and naivety has been snatched away from her because of this one touch. आखिर क्या पाप किया था मैंने जो इस सजा का भागी हूँ, भाग्यशाली होकर भी मैं अभागी हूँ, राइट? सो वहां पे इट्स अ टाइपो, इट शुड बी अभागी which means unfortunate. She has written bhagi. So I mean, she is asking the most basic question that any victim of any sort of accident or any sort of harassment would ask, that why me, right? Why me? What did I do? Why did I ended up here, right? भाग्यशाली होकर भी मैं अभागी हूँ. She is thankful for everything that she has received in her life. Yet she cannot accept the fact that she had to undergo something that has changed her life altogether. आज इस चेहरे पर मुस्कुराहट नहीं, डर बस चुका है. वो बेबाक बचपन अब अकेलेपन के साए में छुपा है. This is, I'm pretty sure all of you know that um, harassment, and here she is specifically talking about child molestation. Why is it such a huge thing? right? Why is it always, I mean, of course it is a huge thing, any sort of molestation is a huge thing, but the point is that grown up, they can talk about it, they can express it, right? They can take actions for it. A child, and I'm pretty sure I'm not telling you something new, okay, but for the sake of completion, bear with me. A child doesn't know what to do, a child doesn't know how to process it, right? Because a child has not been aware of something of that caliber, right? See, this thing is healthy when you know about it, when you have your consent in it, when you know about it, when you are physically ready for it, when you are mentally ready for it. But here is a child who doesn't know what is happening, and all of a sudden this foreign stimulus is being instilled in their body, and that scars them. Many a times they feel that they are the ones who are to be blamed. They are confused, they are scared, they can't process it, they can't talk about it, because this thing is so private that they are scared that it is going to, change everything. And that, so all this accumulates together, and it takes away every bit of childhood that you have. आज इस चेहरे पर मुस्कुराहट नहीं, डर बस चुका है, because you're scared of everything, you're scared of every bit of touch, even if some relative is, patting on your head with, a warm elderly love, you won't be able to trust them. Down the line, when you are grown up, when you're adult, when you are in a relationship, you wouldn't be able to trust your partner. वो बेबाक बचपन अब अकेलेपन के साय में छुपा है. Your childhood is snatched. That is true. It is as simple as that, yet as scary as what she has said. अपनी ही चीखें मुझे सोनी नहीं देती, वो कड़वी यादें नए सपने नहीं देती, उस एक स्पर्श ने मुझे बदल दिया, अरे क्यों मेरे साथ ही ये छल किया. She talks about the fact that whatever she is facing in her head as a consequence of what has happened, it is not letting her sleep. She can't dream. Everything that goes on in her head, everything she is an audience to while she is asleep, is not a dream but a nightmare. That one touch has changed everything. She mentions that again. उस एक स्पर्श ने मुझे बदल दिया. अरे क्यों मेरे साथ ये छल किया. This could have more than one meaning when she says क्यों मेरे साथ ये छल किया. Right? Why did you do this sort of a? I'm not sure what it would be the perfect word for chal, but chal could be interpreted as many things. Chal is an encapsulation of many things, right? It could be like forgery could be chal. Any sort of charlatanery could be chal. Okay, let me Google what is the. So, what is the English word for chal? Dhoka, kast, of course, that is there. Cheat. Okay, cheat is a closely approximated word. So she asks her fate and everything, that why was I cheated? Right? Deceived. Yes, that's a good word. That's probably better than cheating, right? Why was I deceived? Which is derived from deceived that Gaurav mentioned. By the way, hello Gaurav, hello Abhishek Bhaiya. So they talk about she now this could be interpreted in more than one ways. She could be talking to her life, she could be asking her life, why was I deceived, especially in this case, why was I deceived of my childhood, right? And but this again, I remember watching this show called Satyamev Jayate, hosted by Amir Khan. I don't know if you guys have watched that show, but if you have not, do watch it. It was a revolutionary show, and it's really sad that we didn't learn anything from it collectively. Hello Anusha, thank you for joining. So it in that particular show it was mentioned that when it comes to child harassment, child molestation, most of the culprits are someone who is a blood relative, who is a loved one, quote unquote loved one, right? So that could also be brought. It is Satyamev Jayate. It was hosted by Amir Khan. It talked about the social issues that is faced by India in the modern day and age, and the show was very open. It talked about, you have seen a lot of episodes, right? It actually touched subjects which should be talked about but is considered to be taboo. Okay, I don't know why, but still, you guys should watch it show watch this show, and yeah, let's go ahead and maybe we can someday, watch it together. Yeah, it was discontinued. The theme song was really beautiful. Exactly. The theme song was beautiful, and each day, in each episode, they had a particular song. I remember there was this song called Mujhe Ka Bechega Rupaiya, which was sung by Sona Mohapatra. Beautiful song. And then there was this another song. I forgot the title. It was again sung by Sona Mohapatra. I forgot the name. I'm really sorry, but I'll share those in the podium. Okay, some of the most beautiful songs. Okay, and it was O Re Chiraiya, Nanhi Si Chidiya, Angna Mein Fir Aa Ja Re. Okay, and this song was actually sung at the end of the episode that was based on child molestation. Okay, and that episode was really scary. There was this lady who came and told that, that her child was harassed by her own grandfather, like her father, like the lady's father-in-law, and it was a baby. So it was disturbing. But then again, everyone should watch it to understand that we are not living in an utopia. And so yeah, do watch Satyamev Jayate. Hello Shadow, thank you for joining. So she says, क्या मेरे साथ ही क्यों मेरे साथ ये छल किया? Why was I deceived of my childhood? या फिर why was I deceived in the first place? And when we talk about deception, this could be pointing towards the fact that, the narrator is talking about someone who was trusted, who was entrusted with the child, or who was trusted by the child. आसमान है उड़ने को पर अब पंख नहीं, रोना तो आता है पर अश्क नहीं, वो मासूमियत अब खो गई कहीं, मुझ में बाकी नहीं जो था कभी। काश मेरे साथ वो हादसा हुआ ना होता, काश मेरे तन को किसी ने छुआ ना होता। सबको ज्ञान था उस दुराचार का, पर ये जमाना स्तब्ध था। सबको ज्ञान था उस दुराचार का, पर ये जमाना स्तब्ध था। मन में ज्वाला थी जलने को, फिर भी मैंने शब्द था। So at the end, she says that I have an infinite sky to, fly through. She has her aspirations alive. Everything is there. But I mean, she has aims, but she doesn't have the aspiration left. रोना तो आता है पर अश्क नहीं. She wants to cry, but there are the ducts are not working anymore. No tear comes out. वो मासूमियत अब खो गई कहीं, मुझ में बाकी नहीं जो था कभी. And there could be more than one ways to interpret this. When she says वो मासूमियत अब खो गई कहीं, of course, if some little boy or girl is unfortunate enough to undergo such a scary thing, a scary situation, the innocence and the naivety, I'm not sure if it is taken out as a whole thing or like in bulk, but a huge chunk of it is bitten out. A huge chunk of it is, you know, bitten off. So मासूमियत अब खो गई कहीं, and again, as I mentioned, there could be more than one interpretations to that. Uh, this might sound harsh, but I have come across and I've read about many cases where the victims of child molestation turned out to be child molesters. Okay, so somehow the coping mechanism collapses and it sort of instills new schema to your head, and you end up becoming what you were afraid of. मुझ में बाकी नहीं जो था कभी, काश मेरे साथ वो हादसा हुआ ना होता, काश मेरे तन को किसी ने छुआ ना होता. And it stems from the same fact that she was molested. Everything that is happening starts from that one touch. सबको ज्ञान था उस दुराचार का, पर ये जमाना स्तब्ध था, because everybody knew what was going on. Everybody knew who that person was, but nobody was brave enough to confront. Nobody had the spine to stand up. मन में ज्वाला थी जलने की, मन में ज्वाला थी जलने को, फिर भी मैं निशब्द था. And the same goes for her. A fire was burning inside her, but she was silent. So another beautiful work by our very own Akshmani Poornanshi. And if you have been in Sahityaka for at least the last 3 years, which or at least the last 2 years, you would know her. You would know her work. Okay, I'll ask her to share more of her works in the Writers Cafe, some which have been shared before, and that would be exclusively for people who have not been a part of Sahityaka, like who have become the part of Sahityaka recently, and some of the new ones which even we have not read. Okay, so yeah, guys, what are your views on this particular work by Akshmani? Feel free to use the chat box. Feel free to turn your mics on, and always remember, don't interrupt if anyone is talking. Okay, we go by these rules, and as long as we abide by them, I think we would be going good. So, guys, utilize the chat box, and anyone would like to go ahead and turn their mic on and lead the conversation, feel free to do so. Badra, please go ahead.
As you were reading this poem, a thing I read today came to my mind. So there was this article or something I was reading online, and it said that a major reason for oh my god, my words. You know, it was Akshmani's works. They are just raw and they they simply they go to your heart. So after I don't understand Hindi properly. I want someone to explain poems to me, and as you were explaining, actually my heart is thumping so wild. It was, I don't know. It was really, I don't have any words to say. It impacted me a lot. So I'm still shivering from comprehending that poem. So excuse me if I break off in the middle. So okay. So this thing I read online. It said that the major cause for child molestation is that parents they just dismiss what their children say. For example, if a child he goes to his dad in the middle of the night and says that dad I'm afraid there are monsters lurking around, dad will probably tell him that there are no monsters, you are just being silly, go to sleep. And after that the child won't feel safe anymore to go and tell his dad that he's afraid of monsters. The same way, parents for them kids are kids. No matter however we grow up, for our parents we are still their babies. They won't be they won't be having this idea that somebody might be wanting to attack them, or after we are grown up a bit, after we become teenagers, parents will be having this notion. But as long as we are still kids, parents won't be having this thing that somebody would be cruel enough to hurt their child. So if a child go and a lot of the majority of child molestation rape cases, everything happens and the what people who do it are their close relatives. What happens is that when the child goes and complains to his parents that this uncle, I don't like the way he touches my private parts, or I don't like the way this grandfather is touching me. When the child goes and tells their parent, they just dismiss their fears away. For them, these uncles, these grandparents, everyone, they are respectable people, they are respectable in the society for them. So they will be they will just dismiss this child's fears as irrational. They won't be having this thing that this uncle might be having this intention of hurting their child, and this dismissal is what leads to children having their childhoods destroyed in most of the cases. And at other times, parents they would be fearing of being ostracized by their families. They will ask their child to keep quiet and not to tell this to anyone else. To keep quiet and let that be, and not to ever let that happen again. So this child will be, as you said, child will be feeling this is something that happened as a result of some kind of mistake from my side, and they would be keeping quiet. What the thing which is missing is that parents, they won't, they will just dismiss their child. They won't consider their children as mature or as this human beings capable of communicating unless they are a little near teenage. And predators, they make use of this well, and this is where parenting fails a bit, and through this gap in the fence predators get inside and they just crush childhood out of a child, and it remains a traumatizing experience throughout their lives. This was this. I read this online and I thought, okay, this makes sense. I too, I haven't been, I don't want to talk about this, but okay, I didn't, I had a great childhood, but at the same time, I too have experienced this sort of dismissal from my parents at first, even though they would consider thinking about it later. At first, what I would be getting is a thorough dismissal. No, this won't be, or no, this won't happen to you. You're just imagining all this. This will be the first thing they will be saying, and that was why I was afraid to open up to my parents after someone gave me a bad touch or behaved inappropriately with me. So this I was I had this fear of my parents scolding me for being careless, or the I had this fear of me being held the one who did the mistake there. So this fear, every children, they will be having this fear unless and until parents start treating them just like they would treat their teenage kids. So yeah, I felt like saying this now. That's all.
That's a bunch of beautiful points that Bhadra made. Thank you very much, Bhadra. Whenever Bhadra opens her mic, you are in for a treat in one way or the other. So thank you very much, Bhadra. And Bhadra made a very good point about, parents totally, parents being in denial totally. They would never accept the fact that you are scared. What is more important for them is the fact that what you are scared of. But the fact that you are scared should be given more importance. And while Bhadra was saying about, but while Bhadra was giving that particular example, that in the middle of the night, if you go to your parents and you tell them that, that there's a monster under my bed or there are monster lurking around, your parents would even never ask you why you are feeling that. And I understand after a long day, a grown up person who has some extent of rationality would consider a monster as something that is made up, right? I understand where they're coming from. But the fact that your child is scared should be more important to you than your own sense of rationality. It might not be a monster, it might be a bad dream, but to tell them that it's okay, to tell them that their problems are your problem is our problem, that also goes long way, right? And as Bhadra was giving that particular example, I remember this one lady from the very same episode I was talking about. She told that, and the little boy was also, I mean, the boy had grown up, he was a man now, and he was molested by an elderly relative of their, in their family, an elderly relative of his. And the mother was crying and saying that when he told me that this person is bad or something, in whatever way a child could, they didn't believe him. So she mentioned that whenever your child is saying something like this, always give them the first priority. You listen to them what they have to say. You should not altogether deny the fact that uh, like this that a person could be a person could be wrong, or a person could be bad. For example, I'll just give you a small example. This lady, she said that the boy was telling her again and again, but they never understood what he was trying to say. They never really tried to understand. And that only led to this boy getting molested more and more, right? So imagine that there are such beasts out there who would, try to satisfy their perverted appetites using a little child. So it is important for everyone, including us. Not It's not just the parents' job. It is the job of the cousin, the elder sibling, the younger sibling, or anyone, the uncle, the aunties. I'm pretty sure all of you play one of these roles at least, right? And including me. And it is our job to understand that what the little ones are trying to say. Okay, and I mean, I'm pretty sure we all understand that, but I still wanted to put it forward on the table and be vocal about it, because I know people who have suffered this. I know someone who was very close to me, and they suffered something like this on a regular basis for a long time, and I know what sort of a trauma they had undergone through. And let me check the. So yeah, those were some great points, Bhadra. uh, no child is safe until and unless their parents are willing to listen to them. Chat box, I can see Gaurav has made some good comments. Gaurav says that I have always tried to be optimistic about such events. I know it is horrible and inhuman, but it is not the victim's fault. So, as literature has the duty to reflect the society, it should uphold and encourage such victims to not feel miserable and stay brave and strong, being open about these monsters of the society. Remembering that sinners they, not you. No such self-grieving pieces stir our hearts only to inspire other literary maniacs to come up with their protesting voice. And Gaurav made a very good point. That point is something that we all should remember, that the sinners are they, not us. Right? It was their fault, not ours. The victims, their faces are blurred, and it is sad that they are blurred for the obvious reasons, because we as a society have failed them, and we as a society are failing them. So a victim's face should not be blurred. Rather, the ideally it should not be blurred. I know why it is blurred, because we, as I mentioned, we have failed as a society, and the other identity of someone who does something like this, I think that should be rather, you know, made available to the general public. Even I have my concerns about that as well, right? But I won't go into the depth of, everybody should get a second chance and all those things. I feel some people don't deserve a second chance, so I won't go into the depth. But what Gaurav has said is true, and at the same time, we also have to acknowledge the fact that for a child, it is very difficult to process the fact that they are not the sinners, it's the other person. Because as a child, at least in our country, uh, we have this very black and white sort of division of what is right and what is wrong, right? From the childhood. I mean, to have some sort of a curiosity regarding anatomy, which is very normal, it is, it comes with age, is considered to be taboo or considered to be bad, right? I mean, watching an adult scene in the movie is considered to be something that is worth 10 murders, okay? But yet, we are not able to bring justice to the people who have suffered. So that sort of a funny joke, a cruel joke, become a very has become the very reality of the fabric of our society. So that is there. So it is very important that, grown-ups who are victims, they understand that, they are not the sinners, but it is more important to ensure that a child doesn't feel the same, because they might not understand the concept of victimhood while while being a victim for real, because they can't comprehend. Gaurav also says that it is to empower the victims, to make them believe that it isn't their fault, and to warn others of the harsh repercussions if such heinous crimes ever happen. Though I pray, they never occur. True. I also wish that that it doesn't occur ever again. It is sad that we live in a world where such things have become so frequent that every week you will come across one such diabolical news in one way or the other. Gaurav says, lastly, I try including that in my works. Ah, yeah, by the way, guys, Gaurav is a part of the Sahityaka Council. He's specifically a part of the editorial and documentation team. He has really his skills, his penning and writing skills, they're really good. He also shares his work, although not frequently, in the writers cafe. So Gaurav, I would request that you become more and more active in the writers cafe and share more of your work. I'm pretty sure people will enjoy. And do read Gaurav's work. He's a well read person, and that shows up in his work. Okay, because if you have read enough, you'll write good enough. Okay, actually, I'm working on my novel. Okay, that speaks a lot. That speaks a lot. So, guys, let us all wish. Okay, I think so. Mosam has shared something in the chat box. Mosam has written, "I wish someone cared to know about me, cared about my heart and all of the scars. I wish someone cared to listen my words." The words that I say to the shattered stars. Beautiful. That last line was beautiful. I wish someone cared to look at my smile, a smile that hides all of my pain and fears. I wish someone cared to sense my silence, a silence that hides everything I often. Okay, wait. Am I reading it wrong? I wish someone cared to know about me, cared about my heart and all of the scars. I wish someone cared to listen my words, the words that I say to the shattered stars. I wish someone cared to look at my smile, a smile that hides all of my pain and fears. I wish someone cared to sense my silence, a silence that hides everything I often bear. That's so beautiful. हाँ, I got it. आपने दोबारा भेजा है ठीक से. Understood. That's a very beautiful word. कोई बात नहीं bro, कोई बात नहीं. आप एक काम करिए, आप ये writers cafe में भी share कर दीजिए. Once the session is done, I'm definitely going to praise Aksh for her entry, and I would like to, sort of talk about what we discussed today. I would also like to mention Rohit's beautiful poem that he has shared here. Rohit, kindly. By the way, guys, Rohit is our very own Mosam, so let's not call him Rohit anymore. And yeah, by the way, Gaurav is working on a novel, so all the very best for your work, Gaurav, and we cannot wait to read it. Okay, and with your permission, we will definitely read it in the reading session as well. But I'm not active on social. You are there in the writers cafe, na? Writers cafe में भेज दो आप. Just share in the chapter one is ready. Okay, okay, fine. We'll definitely read it. Okay, we'll have a special reading session where we will be talking about your work specifically. Pakka. So, guys, that was the first phase, I hope, of tonight's reading session. I'm in hibernation. Maybe I will come back. Okay, okay, Rohit. Okay, okay, fine, 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 fine. आप एक काम करिए, आप ये मुझे भेज दीजिए, मैं भेज दूंगा. ठीक है? And I'll mention that it is written by you. So, and I'll also mention that you had written it on the spot while we were, you know, discussing about what Aksh has written. So that marks the end of this particular phase of tonight's reading session. Uh, Thank you, everyone, for being patient and listening to this beautiful thing that is penned by Aksh, right? And although we will be continuing with Salem's Lot after we end this part, I would like to thank you all for being warm enough to join and to listen to what our beautiful friends have written. And oh, you had written it in 2023. Okay, then relevant ho gaya. Chalo, badhiya. And I know Aksh is not here, She once there was a time when she used to join a lot, but I understand she's doing dual degree now. And when you join dual degree, and she has also she was I think also a part of a paradox last year and everything. So that also takes a lot of work. Okay, and so yeah, I wish you were here, Aksh, so that we could listen to more of your views on this, given that you have written it. I'm pretty sure you would have done a better job than I did in refining and elaborating on each and every line that you have penned. And pardon me if I forgot something or if I missed something. And would love to see you in the sessions soon. And thank you for this beautiful, beautiful, and thought invoking uh, work. And this does remind me of India's Daughter, and I would request everyone present here to read this beautiful poem, India's Daughter. I think that is the best poem ever written by Aksh. As of now, she has written many things afterwards, but nothing could ever touch India's Daughter. And yeah, I mean, that statement that I made, that nothing could touch India's Daughter, that was made unknowingly. But I wish that someday we would be living in a society when not just nothing, but no one could touch India's Daughter. And so, yeah, thank you, everyone. And let me just end the recording.